Hello lads, Imperial Bodybuilding here, bringing you the latest bodybuilding news from around the world. And we start the show off today lads with an announcement from Samson Dauda. I'm sure you've already heard that he will be doing the Prague Pro next week. Look, this is massive news and it's going to be an absolutely massive show. But my question is to you, why do you believe, honestly lads, Samson said he's doing the show because he's angry. But I believe that honestly, he's doing the show because he's just missed out on 600 grand. That's the real reason why he's doing the show. And Samson posted this update from yesterday. At the Olympia, Samson Dauda claimed to be 280 pounds. A week later, lads, he's 300 pounds. This is how quickly the man changes. And if this is correct, you can see that he's still dry, he's still full. But look, I'm going to be honest. I still think that he's vulnerable. Does he have the same pop from 2024? I don't think he does. Will he be going onto the stage, onto the Prague stage, like he was at the Olympia last year? I don't think he will. I still think he's vulnerable. I think Keone Pearson, if Keone comes in just as full, if not fuller, and tight, if not a little bit tighter, then look, he can beat Samson Dauda. I genuinely believe this. Samson's doing the show because he wants the money. $40,000, it's a lot of money. And let's not forget Samson Dauda. He likes his cars, his GT3 RS, his McLaren 720S, and he's got the big house. So we look at him here from the back. The back is a weakness, not the back lat spread, but simply the back double. It's his weakest pose, and that's where he was exposed. You saw Andrew Jacked absolutely annihilate Samson in the back. Samson's biggest problem and his biggest mistake was losing the pounds. Samson's strength is size and shape. He's never going to have the condition of a Hadi or a Derek. It's just not going to happen. So what he needs to do is go back to the drawing board, if I was him, and play the size game. Everyone wants to be as big as they can. But let's be honest, lads, no one can be 310, 315 pounds on stage shredded. These type of physiques, the likes of Ramy, the likes of Ronnie, the likes of Samson, to carry that amount of mass, that is something that no other competitor on the stage will have. So this is what he needs to do going forward. I think this is what he's going to do. The game plan is at Prague. Just overwhelm the opposition with sheer size and firepower. But let me know what you think, lads. Is Samson's best look what you've just seen on the Olympia stage? Or do you prefer him being bigger and fuller? Let me know your thoughts. And where did he go wrong at the Olympia? And one thing I guarantee that Samson's going to have to do is obviously get a new coach. If he stays with Marlena, and I think they're a great pair together, but if he stays with her, I just can't see him progressing. He needs to get with a Chad Nichols or a Chris Aceto, and they would snap Samson's hand off to take Samson on board. This was Samson at the 2023 Prague Pro, and this is one of my favourite looks that he's brought. It's a very Roden-esque. He's got those beautiful lines of Roden, yet he's denser. This is the type of physique that doesn't need to show up. Look, it's stringy. You see the fullness in the chest isn't there. The sweep on those world-class quads was just not there. And Samson, as soon as he got on stage, he looked so underwhelming. Lads, he chased the conditioning, but that's not his game. I didn't notice any better conditioning, and he probably was, a fraction better condition than he was last year. But this is not his strength. Samson's strength, like you can see now in the poses, nothing is popping like it was in 2024. This is like a Samson going back to 21, simply because this is not his game. Samson's strength and Samson's greatest ally is his overwhelming size. Look how narrow and stringy he looks in the back. There's no width, there's no density, and he crucified a pose that was already very weak. And going up against the likes of Derek and Hadi, who have improved their backs massively, even Andrew Jacked, Samson got absolutely smoked. And I hate to say it because he is a countryman, but he got embarrassed as well. What I will say about Samson is his posing is the best in the IFBB. I think he's a master of the mandatories in terms of his transitions. And this will work for his strength. So Samson's biggest strength is his size, his structure, and his ability to understand how to majestically pose. So he needs to get back to his roots. Samson, if you're listening, which you're probably not, Look, we need to see you big, we need to see you full. The Samson that captivates your audience. The Samson that blows us away just with your sheer size and firepower. Now, talking about firepower, you look at those arms on Krizo. This was from the British Grand Prix last night where he dominated the show. But Krizo's just got one of those physiques, lads. Like, he reminds me of Paul Dillette. Standing still, he looks incredible. When he goes into the poses, he's got that strange torso. He poses like a robot. Look, lads, for a guy that's been a pro for years now, even before the Pro League, he was an IFBB Pro Elite. And even then, in the IFBB Pro Elite, his posing was shocking. Like, it was really bad, except he doesn't shake as much now. But when you see him in the back shots, again, his transition, his stage presence is awful. He can't hold a back double. His back double is probably the worst back double in terms of how he holds it in the IFBB Pro League. Side tricep, the chest is tiny, bit of gyno going on, massive triceps. Look, Krizo's got two good poses. Because of that strange structure, his best pose, most muscular, and side chest. Other than that, lads, like, he's shockingly average. I hate to say that because he is one of my favourite bodybuilders, because if you see the muscle bellies on him, he's just absolutely nutty, as they say. Now, just giving James Hollingshead a shout out. Now, James, a couple of years ago, I thought he was the next big thing. He did the British Grand Prix in 22, and he looked great. He was diced, he was shredded, he was hard. I thought we were looking at the next Branch Warren, and not just because of his bald head. But ever since then, he's never really progressed. In fact, I think he's regressed. He's had so many coaches, and nobody's been able to dial him in. I'm not sure if it's because his body just isn't responding, or he's just hard to work with. But when you listen to James on podcasts, he just seems like a really chill, cool dude. Someone that you'd like to go to the pub with and just have a few pints of Guinness with. You know, he's a likeable lad, a likeable character. Going into the posing and the comparisons here, this is what I'm talking about. Look at Krizo's midsection. It doesn't flow. He's probably got the best arms in the world with Nick Walker. But if you look at Sas Harati, who's next to him on the right, so much more balanced, let's say. And you look at Krizo's back even. Yeah, it's just underwhelming. But we'll see what he brings next week if he can come tighter, more conditioned. Look, I think he's got a chance for top 3. Let me know what you think in the comments, lads, about Krizo. And last but not least, lads, we had another show going on today, which was the Brazil Pro, where Terrence Ruffin battled against Fabio Junior, which was a rerun from last year, where Terrence got the win. And look, I look at Terrence's physique, and I just think, if you were to put him in a 70s, 80s magazine, he wouldn't look out of place with the likes of Zayn and Arnold. His physique is that aesthetic. Yes, look, he lacks the size of other competitors in the division. You look at Fabio Junior, and he's your modern day bodybuilder. He's dry, he's massive, he's conditioned, probably more conditioned than Terrence, but he just doesn't have the beautiful structure or the lines. I think Terrence has possibly the most beautiful physique. I mean, you look at the abs and thighs. Come on, lads, just give me this. That is one of the most textbook abs and thighs in the business. The symmetry on the abs, the taper from the lats going into the waist, it's a thing of beauty. It really is. And then you look at Fabio and you're just like, yeah, it looks good. But he's no Terrence. Terrence did take the victory here. And look, Terrence is a phenomenal athlete, but I just think he lacks, just because of the he lacks the size and probably a little bit more height as well. I think if you had more height and size, you would be looking at a 2 or 3 time Mr. Olympia champion. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Terrence Ruffin, do you ever see him winning the Olympia? What does he lack and where can he improve? Lads, if you haven't already, leave me a comment, a like and a subscribe, and I will see you soon next week at Prague Pro.